What did you do last night?
I was at a sleepover.
What?
Where?
Oh, so you haven't slept.
No.
You were sleep deprived. You're going to fall asleep on this set.
Yep.
Who do you got with you?
Buddy.
Who's
What?
Buddy?
And my stuffy.
Oh, your stuff.
Stuffy.
All right.
Ever wish you could grab a beer and ask a lawyer any question you wanted and have him break it down for you? Law Splaining at GRL Raw breaks down fancified legal mumbo jumbo over beers so all may understand.
Welcome to a very special episode of. So you're supposed to wait for that Coke to crack it for us, but whatever. Of Law Splaining. I am your host, Bobby Rehkemper. And this time we have upped our game. I'm joined by none other than Matthew the Wolf Lindholm. Yeah. Woo! And we have a very special guest, last minute addition to the program.
Ayma.
Me.
Say
Ta-da.
hi. Say hi, Ayma.
Hello.
And we decided that we're going to up our game. We are going to do the whole point of law splaining is to break down legal concepts, law stuff, to a point where hopefully anybody can be able to understand what we're talking about and have it make sense to their life. So what better way to make sure that we're able to do this than to bring a young person onto our podcast and help us explain some things.
I agree. Do you think you can do that?
Yes, I think I can.
Can you make sure you speak up so everybody can hear you?
Yes.
Okay.
So Ayma,
What?
may I call you Ayma, or do you want me to call you Miss Lindholm?
No, just emo.
Ayma. Okay, Miss Ayma. You have a special guest with you as well. Who do you have with you?
Buddy.
Buddy is what?
My stuffed animal.
Is that a pound puppy?
No.
No.
He's mine.
Oh, pound puppies. You don't remember pound
Yeah,
puppies.
you do.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
We do.
She doesn't know what that is.
Okay. So what are we going to talk about, Mr. Lindholm?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about, Ayma?
I don't know.
You don't know?
What's one thing that would be arguably law-related that you have to deal with or that you have to pay attention to at school?
Bullying. That's what.
Bullying. That's good.
That's
What do you mean by bullying? What is bullying?
Like, there's different kinds, kind of, like teasing, stuff like that. It's just another word of saying being rude and mean.
Solid. So I have a question because this is interesting, and there are actual, believe it or not, legal definitions of bullying. And the legal definition of bullying, and I'm going to paraphrase it, which means I'm just going to kind of gloss over and make it bigger, is in essence treating somebody badly because of a personal, physical, mental, or emotional disability or difference than the rest of the people. What would be an example in your head of bullying that would meet that definition?
So a person, a person has diabetes, like saying that, and they get like teased about it, and people make fun of them because of it.
That is a great example of bullying. So go ahead.
Like, they know they have diabetes because they maybe have the insulin things on their arms and they make fun of them because of that, or they have to do shots or something like that because of it, right? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's actually a perfect example,
great
which
example.
is using a medical condition to treat somebody differently and treat somebody badly. Example that I can use, because I'm a grown-up, I could talk about my past, would be like when I was in your grade. What grade are you in? Fourth grade. I had the distinct privilege of going to speech therapy because I couldn't talk right. And so they'd pull me out and I'd have to go into the special speech therapist person and they'd teach me how to talk better than I talked. So if somebody would make fun of me and treat me bad because of that disability, that would be bullying. That's a good example.
It is. Are you taught anything at school? Like, are there rules, or does the school have any rules on bullying, and then do they tell you about those?
I mean, we have this big chart in every classroom, and it's called the Bulldog Beliefs, and it's like being responsible, respectful, and safe, and we talk about those a lot. And then in my classroom, we have this big poster, and it's like our classroom norms, and everybody got to pick 3 things, and then we lowered them down to like the top 5, and they were like rules like being respectful, being kind, and stuff like that.
So
What were the 5 rules
It was
or norms?
following the Bulldog Beliefs, being kind, being like focused or locked in, and then it was treating each other how you wanted to be treated. I think that was on there, like being kind. And then there was one other thing. Oh yeah, it was being like helpful, and then at the top it said our class is a family at the top.
So treating everybody in your class that you're around like you treat your family, but not like your family when you like them, not like your little brother when you're mad at him, right?
It's funny. I mean, we've had some bullying cases here in our office involving school and school issues and bullying, and there's actually a code section that directs and mandates certain things that was put in place, 3 years ago?
It's
Or
been
has
a
it
while,
longer than
actually,
that?
longer than we think.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting going through that code section and the steps that got to be taken by the schools when there are allegations of bullying.
And the other thing is the importance of parents, one, of the children disclosing issues to their parents. It's a part of being safe, right? Is always informing and telling your parents when somebody is treating you bad or is doing something that makes you feel unsafe. That's super important.
It's probably the number one important thing.
Number one rule, I would say, is if you feel unsafe, if you're being treated in an unsafe way, to make sure to tell your parents. But then the other thing then comes into play is, what are the parents supposed to do? What's the process? What's the procedure? Do you go down and whoop the kid's butt that's bullying your kid, or is there something that you're supposed to do?
Well, and it's tough too as a parent, right? Because you get, a complaint from your child, and it's like, all right, is this severe enough?
Mm-hmm.
How do I vet this to make sure it's true? And is it something I try to have my child handle themselves, or do I bring it to the school's attention?
And that is one of the biggest conflicts as parents, right? We grew up in a world where bullying didn't exist. It existed.
It existed, but there was no parameters on it. It wasn't identified and tried to be lassoed in.
There was no rule against
Right.
it. You got teased hard for anything anybody could come up with, and you had to deal with it. So as parents, we kind of sometimes want our kids to be able to handle some things. So I got a question. If I tease you and I say, Ayma loves, and I throw a name out there, is that bullying or is that teasing?
That's probably more teasing, I would say.
Still not enjoyable, right? It's not nice. But that doesn't rise to the level of the legal definition of bullying because it doesn't involve personal appearance, disability, race, gender, ethnicity, religion. Character trait that you can't change. It's just me being mean, which nobody should have to tolerate, but there is a difference.
Now, what if I said this? Ayma's so short that she has to have a stuffed animal because she's just a little baby. Is that bullying?
That one's probably more towards bullying, though.
Yeah.
Why? Ooh.
Because just seems kind of more ruder than saying.
Physical characteristic.
Why did you have to have, why was I saying you needed to have the stuffed animal?
Because, like, shorter.
Shorter, right? Physical characteristic. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so, as a parent, the one thing that parents need to be aware of is obviously you want to try to sort things out on your own to the extent you can.
Right.
We want to teach our children that they're able to stand up to situations and deal with adversity, because that's what builds character. But there does come a point in time where you do not have to and should not have to tolerate certain acts and certain conduct. But at that point in time, as a parent, it's incredibly important to follow the appropriate procedures, which are contained in that big thing that they give you every year that you probably never read, which is what, Leno?
The student handbook.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, those policies are pretty well spelled out in most schools that I have dealt with in their handbooks. What's surprising is like you just identified, a lot of parents have never looked at those handbooks, and they don't know what they say. They don't know what the policies are. So, you know, if you've got one of those borderline issues, I think it's important for parents to look at those handbooks, because that's going to probably set out in pretty good detail the steps the school's going to take to remedy the issue if in fact it is bullying.
And most importantly, the steps that as a parent you need to take
Right.
in order for, by the way, all bullying and harassment complaints that are made pursuant to the handbook procedure all have to be reported by every school district to the Iowa Board of Education every year.
Yep.
So when you go through that process, that's how you ensure that they have to do an investigation. There has to be a conclusion to that investigation, and then you have to be advised of the results of the investigation.
Right. And we've been on, you and I have been on both sides of this.
Yeah.
I mean, we've represented kids who have been reprimanded or punished by the school for acts of bullying or alleged bullying. We've also been on the side of the coin where we've represented people who have been bullied and the school did not do or take adequate measures to address it. So, I mean, there are civil ramifications and administrative ramifications that come from bullying in the legal context. What about criminally?
Yeah, no, you can be charged criminally,
Right.
Not necessarily with bullying, but it would qualify as harassment if
Yep.
certain words are used, if there's certain threats that are made, there can be criminal consequences. There can be hate crimes,
Right.
right? If certain words are used, certain indications are used that this assault is based upon a person's race, gender, religion, one of the protected classes, then it can become a hate crime.
And the administrative portion of you know, a bullying episode, if the school has to take those measures, it's an interesting procedure because it's not the same type of protections and the same type of rights that you would have in a civil lawsuit
Right.
or a criminal proceeding. I mean, the witnesses are very protected. You don't have subpoena powers. You know, a lot of hearsay stuff comes in, so the administrators do an investigation and they say so or so said this or this.
That's fine.
And you don't really get the opportunity to bring that person in and ask them any questions, which can be difficult.
Can be difficult, but ultimately, to sum everything up in kids' terms, right? I think the best thing that we can say to the world, courtesy of Miss Ayma, is just be nice.
Yeah.
Be nice.
Nobody's ever gotten in trouble for being nice, have they?
Nope.
Or treating others like you would want them to treat you. Is that maybe the best advice that we could give to people listening to this?
Yes.
As my coach Kasem used to say, Coach Kasem was a football coach in Hawaii. He passed away a few years ago, but he always had this. He always had this phrase, and it was, "Be a good citizen." You know, look out for other people, do the right thing. You see trash, pick it up. He used to make us do that, but we can go with this. Lawsplaining, easiest thing to do to avoid bullying is what?
Being nice.
Be nice. We're going to end it on that. Ayma, thank you for being a special guest. You rocked it, sister. We appreciate you.
Cheers.
Cheers. To next time. Yeah.